And then one time she made me this really pretty red robe. And at the time, when I was growing up in Wisconsin, we used wood. We have fireplaces that heated the house. And I got too close to the fireplace, and it burnt a hole in the butt of my robe. And I felt so bad. How do you think you will be when you leave home?
I think that I'll be better off than like all my like Cameron and Cutting, because I help more than they do.
You think you'll be a partier? Drink?
No.
Drugs?
No.
Sex?
No.
Wearing bikinis?
I'm gonna...
Piercings? Tattoos?
No. I'm gonna be a good Christian girl. How would you describe me to someone who has never met me?
An airhead. Haha, just kidding. So, someone who works hard to get good grades, really into Netflix and Doctor Who, loves technology, loves to be around her friends and her cousins, likes to bake, good at making videos, and if you don't get a lot, and I mean a lot, of sleep, and you need your sleep, you get really crabby to be around. I always tried to help my mom to make her happy just so that she would stop yelling. And then, in a lot of ways, I had a great childhood, but not perfect.
Tell me about the day I was born.
Okay.
How did you feel the first time you saw me or held me?
I was trying to avoid the hospital as long as possible because I had such a horrible time with your brother that I was afraid to, go. So I was putting it off for as long as I could, and then we went to this party, and I just kept breathing through all my contractions, and everyone's like...
A party?
Yeah, for Uncle Kit.
Oh.
And his second wife. And so... everybody kept saying, don't you have to go to the hospital? Don't you think your contractions are getting kind of close? And I'm like, so afraid to go. Well, anyway, long story short, we get to the hospital, and you're born 2 hours later, which is actually pretty fast. And then... once I had you, and then it was all over.
How did you feel like when you saw me and then...
Well, that you were precious and wonderful and that you were
Cameron.
a miracle. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that, but you're definitely... I was glad it was over.
Oh,
and then when I remember, inspecting you, the next day and looking at you, and you had your dad's dimples, even though you were just teeny tiny. Oh, and you know what? You came out, you were sucking your thumb. I was just like, oh, my word. And then you sucked it until you were 7. I was, cooking in the kitchen, and I guess Kinsey pooped her diaper, and you're like, I'll change her, Mommy. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I was thinking, wow, Kinderly is really going to be a help. And then you were taking a really long time, so I stopped what I was doing. I went upstairs, and there was poop everywhere. And you put the diaper, eventually, I guess the baby was kicking her feet in the poop, and it was, huh?
Okay.
And there was poop all over the comforter, there was poop all over the baby, and then you put the diaper on backwards, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was so much work to clean it all up and wash everything that I didn't really want you changing her diaper anymore after that. And then another time, you and Cameron were just little, 1 and 3, or 2 and 4, I'm not really sure. And we had these 2 little kittens, and you kept throwing them in this little baby pool, and the cats would be, crawling out going, meow! And they're trying to get away from you, I think. And then you guys were just sitting there laughing, and you pick them up and throw them back in the water. So I look out the window to check on you, and I see you guys doing this, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And I run outside. I'm like, you guys can't be doing that! And then I had to take these little kittens that looked like they're half dead to the vet, and they said these kittens were in shock. Anyway, they ended up being okay, and they were fine, but I couldn't even believe that you guys thought that was funny, but I guess you just were too little to know. Kinderly, Kinderly, joy, 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 Kinderly, joy, Kinderly, joy, joy.
Did you have a nickname when you were younger?
Oh, well, kind of. I mean, my name, April, is really hard to have a nickname, and so at some point in time, my dad gave me the name Lerpa because it's April backwards.
It's like,
So he'd be like, Larpa! We were at the store. I was at a store with a friend, and I got a diaper bag, and I just walked out of the store acting like it was mine. That's horrible. You shouldn't be laughing about it.
I didn't know.
It's horrible.
Does Grandma know now?
Oh, I don't know if I ever said anything, and she'd be like, really? Why would you do that?
Don't you have a diaper bag at home? Like, why did you want one? Out of everything you could have stolen, you stole a diaper bag.
Everything I could have stole, I stole a diaper bag.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too, Miss Kinderly.